Here we are in the snow. You know, snow is a rare thing here in the desert. But even a more rare phenomenon than snow is ghostly activity. I am preparing for an experiment where I'm going to be conducting a ghost hunting experiment, if you will, apparitions, whatever you want to call them. It's a fairly rare phenomenon, but it's common enough where you perhaps have witnessed something in your life, or you probably know someone who has. I've greatly at length talked about in the past, in the year 2010 and the year 2011 were the greatest in terms of extreme ghost type activity I've ever experienced in my life. A poltergeist entity. A rare phenomenon. But even logical-minded philosophers and skeptics like Carl Jung and even his friend Sigmund Freud, very skeptical people. I think everything is explainable through psychology. Carl Jung experienced poltergeist activity, and he rationalized it as part of the mind, part of the psyche somehow. And in one occasion, his friend, Sigmund Freud, saw on a bookshelf, perhaps a book flew off the bookshelf. Something like that. It involved a bookshelf and a book. I don't think it has been greatly documented, but it did happen. It has been written about and kind of swept under the rug because these guys focus on philosophy. They'll focus on metaphysical things, but they'll always have a psychological explanation for it. I experienced firsthand poltergeist activity wide awake. Some people experience it when they're slightly going to sleep or waking up, but I was full-blown wide awake for 6 months straight approximately. It was closer to 5.5 months. As a matter of fact, yesterday, last night, at 12:10 a.m. on March 1st, 2018, as I'm beginning to prepare for this experiment, this ghost hunting experiment with an array of ghost detecting devices, an aluminum token that I purchased at the Winchester Mystery House a couple weeks ago, it moved, and it made a loud metallic sound against my metal fan. My fan is at a low volume. I keep it running at all times, and it does not vibrate anything off. I guarantee you it was an authentic poltergeist. Stamped on that token that moved last night at 12:10 a.m. was, I couldn't think of a name, so you can custom stamp whatever name you want on it. And I custom stamped Ghost 13. Ghost space 13. And then I made another one, and I stamped John Razimus. And of all things, the Ghost 13 is the one that moved last night. I don't know if it levitated, because I was surfing Google Images, trying to find an avatar for a forum, for a totally unrelated thing, a video game of all things. And it could have levitated, or it could have slid. All I can say is it slid with precision, because it exactly hit my fan and made a very loud metallic sound. I'll show you the video I took approximately 30 minutes after the incident last night. This is the video I filmed last night at approximately, if it happened at 12:10 a.m., about 12:40 a.m., I filmed this. I'm not going to pick up any of this because I don't want to disturb the scene, but this is what the scene looked like, and might as well document it. I tweeted Nick Miller, something happened at 12:10 approximately a.m. my time, and what happened was I heard a noise on the top of this fan. Matter of fact, the similar spot that my Nintendo Mario Happy Meal toy knocked off while I was doing a live stream. And I attributed it to it being too close to the edge and the vibration of the fan knocking it off. Little history of this fan. I had this fan, and I purchased this fan in the year 2011 for the room, the house, for the purposes I explained in that documentary. So, March 1st, 12:10 a.m. my time approximately. This token was right here. I'm almost disturbing the scene, not on purpose. This token was located right here, right next to mine. I brought them both up and I put them on this box because I don't want to put them on this scratchy surface. I spray painted this thing crudely with some matte finish, almost primer type paint. And this is scratchy and crude. I would never put what I consider to be collectibles I want to keep in good condition on this crude surface. It's too sandpapery. And these are brand new, straight out of the machine. I even kept them in my socks so they wouldn't dent on the way here. I took them out of the socks as I was doing laundry. I forgot they were in the socks. I took them out of the socks that were bundled together so they wouldn't fall out. I put that one there, and I put the ghost one there. The John Razimus blue one there, and the green Ghost 13 one there. So I'm sitting in my bed over there, very close. I'm not going to show you my whole room, but authentic poltergeist experience. The, of all things, Ghost 13 token jumped from here, and again, I don't want to disturb the scene, but it jumped from here to here. This box is simply a GoPro replacement I ordered on eBay to replace my cracked GoPro screen. I'll move this. See, this is my GoPro of my hero session. You can see the crack. This thing bounced off a rock. That happened just as my GoPro bounced off a rock. This spontaneously moved from here to here very loudly. It was actually so loud that the first thing I thought it was this loose. I thought it was this. I thought poltergeist activity involved this, because I forgot that I just placed these tokens there literally, I don't know, 1 hour prior, 30 minutes prior, not too long ago. So I placed these so recently I forgot they were even there. So I unscrewed this during the painting job because I painted my fan. It used to be all blue. I painted it for the set. Remember the Pyramidal set a long time ago? I wanted it to be Blade Runner, Mad Max themed. And you know, I try to have some protective totems in my room, like this pirate, but I seriously doubt he really protects. It's more of just a symbolic protection. That's my protective pirate guy I got standing right there. Just a Halloween decoration. But, yeah. You can read. It's upside down. Let's see if we can read it. It's not the easiest read, but it does say Ghost 13. And it did legitimately move, and I'll give you a little clue. It didn't move on its own. An intelligent entity did it. Now, I'm not starting the test tonight. I'm starting the test this weekend sometime, but I'm busy. I'm going to shoot some snow scenes in the mountain tomorrow because it just snowed last night. Just yesterday, for the first time in a while. It actually hasn't really snowed enough for the snow to stay all winter. It's almost global warming, whatever you want to call it, but it's very warm here in the desert. a snow drought until pretty much yesterday and today. So I want to take advantage of that, but I will do the test later, but maybe I'll include this Ghost 13 coin in the test, whatever the case may be. We will see. All I can say is it legitimately moved, and if you want to attach a symbol, if you want to attach a message to that, it's pretty obvious that, oh, that's you, John Razimus. Okay. Hey, that's me, Ghost 13. That's me. So, you know, that's the message I draw from that. This video is 8 minutes and 30 seconds so far. It's just me explaining legitimate poltergeist activity. I didn't document it thoroughly back in 2011, so I'm going to start documenting it because it's an important process, but let's face it, I don't want this to happen outside of the experiment. I'd like it to be in the experiment, but outside, you know, it's kind of unnerving. I was just surfing the internet, surfing YouTube, listening to some songs. I checked Twitter 18 minutes after it happened. Matter of fact, when it happened, I was doing a search on avatars that I could use for this forum, because this forum, I noticed, for this video game of all things, my avatar was blank. I logged in for the first time in a long time, a Kickstarter game I kickstarted. I didn't have an avatar, and I was just looking for an avatar with Google Images when that happened. So I wasn't really doing anything to induce it or entice it. I was just simply looking for a random avatar I could use, and I picked a skull avatar, and the game forum is called Chronicles of Illyria. It hasn't come out yet. I kickstarted it a long time ago, a couple years ago, but that's boring. The fact is, this legitimately happened. This Ghost 13 punched token from the Winchester Mystery House jumped from here to here. It sounded like this. It was very loud. Let me just reproduce it with the one that didn't move, because I'm going to leave that one where it rested originally. I would say it sounded like this. It sounded that loud, exactly to a T, no joke. And I was just sitting literally a couple feet over there. So, you know, just documenting this legitimate, authentic poltergeist activity. I did experience some stuff, but I wanted to save it. The mentioning, the storytelling of it, I wanted to save it for the experiment. But I'm not going to do the experiment tonight. I'm going to do it later this weekend. We will see what happens. I'll include the Ghost 13 coin. I'll tell stories of other encounters, other incidents in great detail. I just wanted to document this. And filming something after the fact isn't exactly evidence. It's one of the reasons why I'm going to be conducting these experiments. I have been mocked and ridiculed. It's one of the reasons I'm conducting these experiments, because if something happens on camera, people give you a little more legitimacy. People, they'll call you a faker that hoaxed something, but I'm known as the hoax hunter on YouTube. YouTube.com/hoaxhunter is my channel. I don't hoax. I'm not a hoaxer. I tell the truth. This right here is a promo for the new show that's coming up. It's March 1st. I told you the new show is coming in March. I didn't say what day. Now, I'm still working on the intro, and I'm here to film today some of the final scenes. I might have to come back, but the snow is melting very quickly. I might have to get it in the desert, but I really like this snow atmosphere. And when the intro is done, when the theme song is done, I'm still working on the theme song, the first episode is going to be on ghosts. The name of the new show, I'm not going to reveal just yet. I'm not going to reveal it just yet. But this is a promo. Stay tuned. That incident that happened at 10 a.m. last night actually happened. I'm not making it up. I tweeted someone a good 20 minutes after it happened. I told a family member this morning what happened. I think it's the spirit preparing, saying it's ready for the Ghost experiment in the corner of my room, and I do not condone direct communication with spirits. In no way, shape, or form do I condone it. I'm going to have a huge disclaimer before the experiment. I plan on running 10 experiments. More, perhaps, or less, perhaps. It really depends on the outcome. We will see what happens. I'm totally clueless as to what happens. I can tell you this, 40 minutes after, or 30 minutes after the incident, showing something on my fan is hardly proof, and it didn't move while I filmed it then. You can't really command or demand evidence to take place. So 10 experiments, we will see what happens. Over the course of the last few years, I have seen and witnessed, and you, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you have seen a few things here and there. But nothing extremely massive, nothing that like a full-blown levitation of an object. And to be honest, I've never witnessed with my eyes levitation. So that, I would say, would be the rarest form of poltergeist activity, full-blown levitation. But I perhaps have heard levitation. You can't really know. I heard a screw inside my computer pretty much drop and spiral. Was it magnetically held and the magnetism gave up? Did it come loose due to gravity? I know for a fact it was a poltergeist because after that happened, objects moved around in my room like pencils flying off tables, bottles being knocked over. And I'm going to detail every tiny thing that happened back in 2011, but those incidents aren't really as interesting, perhaps, as a new experiment that you will see on the new show. Subscribe to this channel, check it out. I love science. I'm a fan of science. Whether scientists dislike the taboo subject of ghosts and the fifth dimension and the sixth dimension and entities perhaps dwelling and residing and occupying those higher dimensions or not, I like exploring subjects, taboo or not, popular or not, and we will see what happens. Snow seems to be falling from the trees, melting. So please, subscribe to this channel, click the bell for notifications. I thank you very much for 8,000 subscribers, 8,000. I never thought I would see 8,000 a good 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I don't know what I had. Maybe 2,000, maybe 2,700, 2,900, something like that. And when I hit 2,000, I was like, wow. And let me tell you how I hit 2,000. I made some hoax hunter videos, then I sat back and didn't make any videos for like 6 months or a year. I came back and I had like 1,000 more subscribers than I had previously. People anticipated more videos like that. I've never used any type of sub for sub type systems. Every single one of my subscribers, you who have subscribed here and watched my videos, are authentic. But someone that subbed for perhaps 5 years ago doesn't even log into that account anymore. Perhaps they're not interested in the new content or the old content. This channel is ever changing, ever evolving. Busting hoaxes is what I started at. I had an authentic paranormal supernatural encounter in 2010 and 2011. These encounters have been every 6 months, 7 months, here and there. Tiny things like perhaps that coin, that aluminum token moving. I haven't showcased or even talked about them. Just tiny, tiny, tiny things. I guess I can share one thing. About 2 years ago, I have a cool gnome, it's supposed to be on the front of a door. I think it says, "Welcome Gnome." And I'm a fan of gnomes, so someone bought it for me as a gift. And one night, just abruptly, violently, my Welcome Gnome sign, which is pretty heavy, it's fairly heavy, and it's in front of a china cabinet, very delicate glass and wooden door. The Welcome Gnome sign shook, and we're talking, it sounded like someone opened the door and slammed it, and it really shook very loud. I knew for a fact it was a poltergeist. So every now and then, tiny stuff, and if I had that on camera, people would say it was an earthquake or a tremor. But I guarantee there was no earthquake, there was no tremor. Last night there was no earthquake and no tremor. That aluminum coin legitimately moved. Hopefully we can get something like that on camera. I can tell you one thing, I'm hesitant about the experiment. I'm not gung-ho on it. I'm very hesitant And I'm not doing it for likes, I'm not doing it for views. People are going to say, if I do catch something great, people are going to say that's fake. You can grab fishing wire and make it out of focus and make it invisible easily and do that. Whatever's going to happen, I don't know. But I did construct a shelf so my ghost detecting devices, meters, won't be able to fall over, won't be able to be knocked over too easily. They have little cubby holes and they're going to be there. I'm going to film it with a GoPro. I think I'm going to film it with my old Sony Handycam, and I'll film it with this camera, and I'll try to focus it the best I can so you can read the meters and see what the numbers say. More videos coming soon. I'm all about science, and I'm all about investigating the paranormal and the supernatural. The word demonologist is very misunderstood, but the technical definition of demonologist is someone that studies demons, someone that studies demonic activity. Someone was talking about the word and they said, it's not like you're a demonologist or anything. I've been studying the phenomenon that's happened to me for the past 8 years. I've been studying this demonic activity pretty closely, and I'm studying it more. I'm going to start documenting it better, taking photos, taking videos, and you will see the experiments. And I would consider myself a demonologist. I have been studying demonic activity for the past 8 years straight. It has been very active in my life for the past 8 years straight. Before the 8 years, very few and far between. So few and far between, I would have been skeptical before then. I would have been very skeptical. But ever since 2010, it's like the gates have opened, and few people here and there. It's not just me. I receive a lot of comments on my documentary, The Demon Poltergeist Haunting of John Razimus. I've received many comments from people saying they have had similar experiences. I don't claim to be the end-all be-all authority or magus or magi of these experiences. It's an unknown realm, a totally unknown field. I would claim to know very little, yet the little I do know, I know they're in a dimension stacked above us. I know they are territorial. I know they follow us. I know a few of the tiny things that perhaps philosophies and even religions talk about. But I don't want to delve into religion because it breaks people up. I want to talk about what brings people together. Many different religions, many different philosophies have talked about the same things. I think we can come together and acknowledge the existence of these invisible entities. Some call them ghosts, some call them forces, spirits. I know for a fact, in my own personal belief, and I'm not forcing this belief on anyone, that they are intelligent and independent of humans. They're very interested in us, though, and they definitely observe us all the time. But stay tuned, more stuff coming soon. I'm the type of demonologist that I didn't ask for it. I never opened a book and summoned anything. I've never practiced occult activity. I used a Ouija board when I was a kid and nothing happened. I only used it once in my grandma's house with my cousin. Nothing happened. But other people have told me, specifically on Twitter, that they've had supernatural paranormal experiences with Ouija boards, for example. But it's kind of a hit and miss phenomenon. You can play with a Ouija board 100 times, and 99 times nothing happened, and 1 time something happened. And chances are you're not going to have the camera ready to go. So the camera's not always there at the right time, in the right place. But as far as demonology, there are definitely full-blown occultists, left-hand path magicians that consider themselves demonologists. There are exorcists, perhaps in a religion, that consider themselves demonologists. I'm not either one of those. I'm just a regular guy that experienced something supernatural, paranormal. I'm just writing about it, thinking about it, talking about it, what actually happened in the history of my life. I'm that type of demonologist. Then there's another word called demonolatry, which is the worship of these spirits. In no way, shape, or form do I worship them, and in no way, shape, or form do I recommend you worship them. Observing them, talking about it, I think is something that should happen, because article after article, people are mocking and making fun of people in the Middle Ages, during the Renaissance, during ancient history, and they're making fun of them and mocking them, treating them as ignorant people for believing in such invisible entities. We have television, we have the internet, we have video games, we have sports, we have politics, all this stuff shoved in our face. It's very easy to ignore a book flying off a shelf. Someone engrossed in a football game, if a book flies off their shelf, they're going to be like, whatever. But someone with a really focused mind, if a book flies off their shelf multiple times, they're going to look into, is it a tremor from an earthquake? Is there some type of vibration from the air conditioner going on? What is this? They're going to investigate. And if they see and witness and notice, hey, this is authentic paranormal activity, they're going to write about it, they're going to talk about it. That's me. I simply write about it and talk about it. I am writing a book on it. This has gone on way too long. Please subscribe to this channel. A new show is coming soon this March. I thank you for watching. Be seeing you.